I've bolted the freshly painted base onto its wooden supports, and I've fitted these studs for real now. They're tightened in, that all went in very well. I've started to put the bearings back in. These only go one way, they're all marked but they do only go one way. Quite straightforward enough. That's where they go together. And the nuts, the double nuts on here and they're adjusted to give the right amount of clearance on the bearing. This one here, I'll bring the camera in and show you another problem I've found. I've found lots of problems, I keep finding problems. That's the one that we repaired. This half bearing goes on there and it looks strange because the oil hole's off to one side, and when you put the bearing top on or the bearing cap on, you look down there, you can't see an oil hole. So what somebody's done, they've put that little miserable scratching in to try and let the oil run across. I'm just going to simply put the bearing top on and just put a drill straight down, straight through the bearing so it gets plenty of oil. The oil hole in there, as far as I'm concerned, is not big enough either, so I'll probably drill that one out as well. The oil is fed from drip oiler, so it is controllable. It's not dependent on the size of the hole, how much oil the bearings get. I'm going to put that shaft in there just so if the drill goes bursting through, just hits that and doesn't damage the half of the bearing. Right, that's one. I'll do the other one, make it the same size as that one. Bronze is strange stuff to drill, very strange. Just got a nice hole in there where it's supposed to have. Favourite tool once again comes into play. Drag those holes as well on the other side, and obviously I've got to remove all the little bits and pieces, little shards of bronze. I'm going to mount the crankshaft in the lathe just so I can polish it and clean it, that's all. I'll put the centre in the back. And the 3-jaw shut at the front will be enough to hold it. Make sure there's plenty of clearance. The things are wazzling around. Just a little nip on the centre is all it needs. I'm just going to polish this with emery tape. I'll bring the camera in and show you how I do it. Probably end up polishing this bit as well. That's where one of the bearings goes there and one goes there, and the crankshaft fits onto that bit. It doesn't, the flywheel fits onto that bit. All this one's polishing up. Probably just a wire wheel to polish all the steel work up. Crank pin's absolutely mint. That'll be something decent material, I would think. Crankshaft runs nice and true. I've got some 100 grit emery tape, that's what I'm going to use to polish it with, and a little bit of oil. I'm going to clamp this into a tool holder shown this before, it worked very well for polishing steel shafts. Once again, making sure I have got plenty of clearance between the crank web. Power feed on there, it'll not take much to clean the shaft up, it's not going to take any metal of it. So we make it nice and shiny. Looking much better. Just going to move the end tape around and put a bit more polish on here, then do that part, and that's going to be enough for it. When you're doing this, you've got to be careful, no jewellery. You've got to respect what you're doing, a long bit of tape, keep your hands out of the way. If you're not sure, do it. Right, something for that. All it's done is polished it up. Splendid that. Right, there'll be little shims to make that go in between the bearing cap in the actual block. But if that's fully tightened down there, it should in theory lock the crankshaft up, and you put it, thrust a little shimmer there to keep the bearing up. I'll put 2 nuts on and we'll try it. It's easier to show than just to try and explain. So every one of these has been misdrilled and been repaired. It's something that's miserable life. I'm going to get new nuts for these as well. I'll try and get the original Whitworth, which were bigger hexes than the modern stuff. The pre-war stuff was bigger. Right, so that's locking up there, locked solid, which means that we want little shims put underneath this bearing cap to allow it to move like that. It's trial and error how much it needs. It doesn't feel like much, but we've got some brass shim. We'll cut some little, throw a couple of little shim pieces up and go from there. Once it's set up, that's it, it's set. You don't need to adjust it obviously unless something happens to a bearing. And as the wear, you can take a shim out and give it a little bit of adjustment. I want some little shims cutting the same width as that. It's not to let the wife know what you're doing with a good scissors. I shall not like it. At least mine won't. Still locking up. It soon became apparent that I was going to want some much thicker shims, so I've got some brass here. I've been using that. I've put 4 bits of that in each side. We'll put the cap on now. Clumsy bastard, John. You need clearance on these bearings. They haven't got to be too tight. Steam engines, like if you sort of rattle fits, because they get hot and they expand and they cause problems. Right, so this is starting to look a bit more promising. Still tight, but certainly getting near. Right, more shims is needed. We're definitely going in the right direction. These are the cheapest, nastiest tin snips I've ever had, but they certainly work. I'd probably measure these and put one thick one in and then shim it with the fine ones after that. That's the way they're normally done. I was actually working on a Sentinel steam wagon this morning, and that had split bearings, white metal, but it had shims in the big ends just the same as these. Right. There was no shims at all on this one. I stripped it. It was just sort of bolted together. Right, so they're now tight. There's clearance on that. Too much. So I'll take the thick shim out now and start playing with the thinner ones until I get the bearing just the way I like it. I've taken one thick shim out and put two thin ones in. We'll give this a try. That feels pretty good to me. There's a tiny bit of lift on it, but not a lot. I'm going to take one thin one out. I think that should be about the same set. Right, so these nuts are now fully tightened. And the crankshaft's still free. It's got a little teeny bit of lift on it. That's the way I want it, like that. Do the other side the same, and then we can start to put things back together. I'm quite pleased with that. I started polishing the crank up. Quite pleased with it. Anyway, once again, a massive thanks for all the comments that come in last weekend, all the questions. I really enjoyed doing that little bit of video with my daughter. It's nice that I can work with my own family like that. Actually, it really is a nice feeling. Anyway, thanks for watching.